Good evening, and this evening's yoga class, tonight's yoga class is going to focus on the trunk of the body. So we're just going to think about this evening as we just tap into our body and observe all movements we've done before, just how does our core play into it, whether we're using our abdominals or parts of our back, if we're stretching, reaching, compressing to the center, and really focusing on strength, mobility, as well as posture. So that's sort of where we're heading tonight. So let's get started. Let's start by lying down on our back, supine, laying all the way down. Go ahead and take a moment. Tap into your body. Mind meets body meets the floor. Start to anchor yourself to the ground. Take a few deep, cleansing breaths. And on an inhale, let's reach the arms up overhead. Start to reach the wrists, the palms of the hands away from the top of the head. And at the same time, feel like your heels are pulling away from your body stretching in opposite directions. Take a deep breath right here. You can keep your eyes open, gazing straight up, or close your eyes. Just feel this feeling in your body, engagement of the arms, legs, glutes. And on an exhale, let's reach the hands and feet over to the right, making a crescent moon shape with our body, starting to stretch the left side body, rib cage. Take a deep breath, and rather thinking about making a big O oval circle shape with your body, think about reaching your hands and feet away from each other while keeping the hips and shoulders square to the mat. Throat stays open, just feeling here, feeling this crescent moon shape, body, side body starting to open. Take another deep breath, and we keep reaching the hands and heels as we exhale. Inhale, come back to center. Wrists reach away from the head, heels pull away from the tailbone. Exhale, crescent moon opposite side. Hands and feet either slide over to the left, maybe they sort of walk inch over to the left, but we're creating this half moon shape, like we're bending over the side of a barrel, stretching out the right side body. Keep our hips down, shoulders stay down, just feeling, breathing deeply, starting to open the side body, noticing how our trunk, our torso moves in this way, opening through the sides, nice and long. Stay for the exhale. On an inhale, let's reach our hands and feet back to center. Hold here for just a moment, but don't hold the breath. Keep breathing steady. Very good. As you exhale, let's go ahead, let our hands come back to our sides. Think about arching your low back away from the mat. Now take an inhale. As you exhale, gently start to press your low back into the mat. Feel the pelvis moving like a supine cat-cow. Inhale, arch that low back away from the mat. Moving from the pelvis first, the rest of the body moves after. As you exhale, low back presses into the mat. Tailbone reaches between the leg. Pubic bone reaches towards your belly button. Inhale, flow your pelvis the other way. Pelvis tilts. Exhale to tilt again. Once more, inhale, arch that low back away from the mat. Notice your chest expanding, heart expands. Exhale, sink that low back to the mat. All right, find neutral in between the two extremes. where it feels like your tailbone is pointing straight at your heels. From there, we exhale, bend into the feet, plant the feet on the ground, point the knees at the sky. All right, feet find parallel, heels close to the glutes. As we inhale, let's lift up into a bridge flow, maybe even reaching the hands up and overhead, just an option. Exhale, sink the hips. Inhale, flow those hips high to the ceiling, thinking about undulating the spine. Exhale, rolling down, just bringing mobility to our back. Maybe our hands lift, maybe our hands stay down, whatever feels like the better idea for our body tonight. And keep moving with the breath, inhaling to lift from the tops of the thighs, reaching them to the ceiling. Exhaling, rolling down the vertebrae, getting a nice massage in the back. Inhale, feel the weight shift between your shoulder blades, noticing how our whole body is moving, just tapping in, paying attention. On your next inhale, hold at the top of your bridge. Very good. Either stay here. Think about lengthening the spine from the tip of your tail to the top of your head, or start to gently engage the very low glutes, taking bridge pulses. Very good. And maybe we hold bridge, maybe we continue to pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. You can do it. 1. Very slowly sink those hips down, maybe sway them side to side. Excellent. Hips hit the mat, palms come together, point the blade of your hands between your thighs. Just roll the shoulder blades and head off the mat. Take a deep breath and start to pulse those hands between the thighs. Maybe we have to spread our feet out a little bit wider, but pulse here. Noticing how we're creating a little bit of a ball shape on the front of our bellies. That's okay. Pay attention to it. And think about, we're supposed to be making that shape. That's how we're compressing our body. But think about pressing that whole ball just a little bit closer to the center line of your body. See if that maybe even lifts you a little higher. Let's pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Take a deep breath. Maybe our feet lift right off the mat. Very good. Let's start to exhale. Sink that low back towards the mat. Maybe lengthen legs all the way up to legs up the wall. We're just going to stay here for a moment. So good for posture. Letting our spine be nice and erect, but keeping the natural curves of the spine. Gaze towards your big toes. If we have to bend the legs here, that's fine. Very good. Take another inhale. Let's everyone bend the knees. We want to have a 90-degree shape in our legs, which means we have to gently keep easing the low back to the mat. Arms come to a T. Inhale, gaze towards your knees. Exhale, let both knees go off to the right. Using your core, keep both shoulders on the ground. Inhale all the way back to center. Arc them through the center. Exhale, both knees off to the left. Keep that 90-degree bend in the legs. Low back stays close to the mat. Inhale through center. Exhale. Knee, belly twist off to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, belly twist. Knees both off to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, give yourself a hug over your shins. Take a deep breath here. All right, just noticing our core starting to become aware of the different ways it can move, how we can engage it, lengthen it, contract it. And let's start to rock and roll up and down our spine. Giving ourselves a little back massage, taking as big or small of these rocks and rolls that feel good, maybe even rocking up to seated. If we don't rock up to seated, all we want to do then is just turn onto our side, press into our hands. Everyone meet in tabletop. So we're in seated, hands come forward, and we roll over our shins. Let's find an all fours position. Hands underneath the shoulders, Knees underneath the hips, fingertips spread wide, hasta bandha grip. Right away, press into those hands. Lengthen up out of the arms. Hands aren't just pressing down, arms are lifting up. And draw your attention to the back of your body, your spine, the shape of your spine. Think about your tailbone pointing straight behind you. The back of your neck is long and the top of your head is an extension of the spine. That means the back of your head is long, you're facing straight down on the mat. Take a deep breath, feel your body broaden across the back of the shoulders, the back of the hip, the sacrum. Nice, broad, strong back. Take a deep breath here. Haven't even moved. This is such a beautiful pose. All right, on an inhale, let's take proud cow. Point your tail at the ceiling and the top of your head follows. As you exhale, let's tuck our tail between our legs. Maybe shift our gaze to look towards our belly button for cat. Inhale, hands grip the mat, tail lifts high, keep the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, find your cat pose. Let's flow this with our breath, paying special attention to the whole trunk of the body. And I say trunk because it's easy to focus on just one part of our torso. Maybe if we really want to be strong, we just focus on the shoulders or the arm muscles, or maybe we're always focused on what our belly looks like. But I want us to take this hour to just get really curious about all the different ways the trunk of our body moves. And when I say trunk, we're continuing to cat-cow, by the way. I mean everything from the very tops of your shoulders, base of your throat, all the way down to the lowest depths of our pelvic muscles. Everything in between, crosswise, lengthwise. So if you have parts in your body right now that feel some extra tension, this is our warm-up phase. If you really want to get into your cat-cow and start getting into maybe your shoulders and scapulas or your hips, go take a moment here, go rogue, and really find your warm-up, because we're going to really pay attention to all the different things our torso, our spine, our abdomen, our shoulders can do. Just get curious about it. All right. Wherever you are, take 2 more breaths. Really feel out your cat-cow. And on an inhale, find neutral spine. Moving to down dog, hands are going to walk out about 1 palm print further in front of us. Let's tuck our toes and immediately find a long spine. Inhale, hasta bandha grip, hand grip. As you exhale, press into the balls of your feet. Lengthen the back of your legs. Lift your tailbone high. Downward facing dog. We don't want to be rigid here though, so we can go ahead and warm up in our down dog, maybe bending into the knees, ankles, maybe swaying the hips side to side, maybe even sort of pawing the mat with our hands like a cat. Finding what feels right in your body, the alignment, nice broad shoulders, nice broad back of the hips, and start to find some stillness. Find a place where we're inhaling, pressing our fingertips down. As you exhale, lift that tail a little higher and just notice your entire back rib cage. See if we can get that back side of the rib cage behind the lungs, nice and broad. Oh yeah, maybe even noticing the armpits come in here. Take another deep breath here. Always an option to come down to forearms or onto our fists as if it's a little much in our wrists, but breathe in your down dog and really feel the backside of your body broadening, stabilizing. On your next inhale, let's shift our eyesight towards our thumbs, just our heads move. Exhale first, then start to shift your weight forward. Bend your knees as much as you need to so you can step
forward towards the front of your mat. Everyone find themselves in a forward fold. We're going to hang out here for a few moments. All right, forward fold. Feet can be toes and heels together. You can heel toe your feet about hip width apart. Whatever is clever. Just make sure your feet are parallel from the inside arches. Right away, we want to relax the spine. So if that means hanging on to opposite elbows or just letting your arms hang, that's fine. Maybe we even take a deep bend in the knees, but we want to let the back of the neck go. Top of the head hangs like a weight at the end of a rope, lengthening our spine. Whether our knees are bent or legs are long, we are actively reaching our tailbone towards the ceiling, like we're trying to put a butt print on the ceiling. Keep the back of your neck long. Feel the spinal extensors lengthening, connecting at the base of the spine, reaching all the way up the back of the head and connecting the base of the forehead. So good. Stretching out all the length of our spine. Let's take one more breath. Keep your eyes open. Gaze towards your kneecap so you don't get dizzy. Take a deep inhale. Press those feet down just a little bit and maybe start to pendulum swing out to the side. Left, right, maybe making figure eights, egg beater shape, or maybe sort of like parabola shape, whatever works for you. Find some mobility in that spine, low back. Maybe even noticing our thighs are sort of massaging our belly here. And as we steadily breathe, let's go ahead and roll, sway, whatever, all the way up to standing position. Continue swaying. Just keeping that spine nice and mobile, nice and lubricated, nothing rigid. And slowly make those sways smaller and smaller until you find yourself standing in mountain pose. Proud posture. Heels sink down. Inner thighs gently engage so our tailbone can point down. Collarbones broad, sides of the neck long. Tongue is relaxed, entire face is relaxed. Top of the head reaches tall. Take a deep breath. Exhale, sigh it out. All right, take toes and heels together. I'm going to stand in the middle of the mat. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Sit your hips back like you're about to sit into a chair. Arms sweep forward, palms face each other. Wonderful. Take another breath. Press those feet down. Feet feel like they're sealing themselves to the mat. Take a moment to take a look at your feet. You should be able to see your big toes. If we can't, sit your hips back and down a little further. Now let's check out our spine. We're not caving over our tailbone and we're not sticking our booty way out behind us. Our low back is long. As if we had a tail, it would just be relaxed straight behind us. We reach out of this neutral pelvis, nice and long with a broad rib cage. Biceps feel like they're magnetizing towards each other. And let's take the back of our neck long. So we're actually reaching the crown of our head in the same direction as our hands. Gaze is a few feet in front of us. Find your breath. Take a deep breath here. Inhale, let's take our hands to heart center. Sink your heart towards your thumbs. Exhale, we twist. Let's take our left elbow over to the right thigh, twisting the torso to the right. Press into the palms of your hands to help increase the twist. Think about stacking your right shoulder over your left shoulder. Check out your hips and knees. Are they in the same spot and space as they were? Maybe stay here. Continue pressing into those prayer hands or lengthen the arms out in opposite directions. Right fingertips reach to the ceiling, left fingertips reach down. Feel the twist. Take a deep breath. So good. Inhale, come back through center. Hands come through prayer. Lift the heart towards your thumbs. Exhale, continue on through, twisting, hooking that right elbow on the outside of the left thigh. I'll turn so you can see me this way. Inhale, press into those palms. Stack that left shoulder over the right shoulder. Keep those hips down, nice and low. Keep reaching. Think about reaching the crown of your head forward, tailbone back behind you. Maybe lengthen the arms out in the opposite directions. Keep breathing here. I'm going to come look at the camera. Looks good. Inhale, breathe. Stay for the exhale. Inhale back to center. Exhale, standing all the way back up into mountain. Find your mountain pose, heels sink down. Shoulders stack over hips, crown of the head reaches tall. Very good. Let's take our right foot, step it back about 3 feet in front of us and bring it to about a 45-degree angle. So our whole right foot is on the mat and it's straight back from where it was standing next to our left foot for warrior one stance. We're going to bend that left knee, stacking it over the left ankle. So we don't need a super extended stance for warrior one. We just need to be able to stand with both feet on the ground. Left knee bent and the right glute engaged. Let's inhale, reach our arms towards the ceiling. Very good, looks really good. All right, press those feet down. Think about reaching that tailbone low and lifting out of the low back. That'll help us square our hips to the front of the mat. From there, our biceps frame the ears and our heart grows forward. Take a breath. Exhale, let's reach our hands to our tailbone. Maybe interlace all 10 fingers. Reach the fist towards the ground behind you. Lift your heart. Take an inhale. Exhale, maybe stay here. Maybe bow your whole torso to the inside of the left thigh for humble warrior. Starting to open up through the left thigh and maybe between the shoulders, lifting those palms up, letting the palms, fists lift naturally up, keeping that left hip easing back, right hip eases forward, keep the bend in the left knee. Take another breath, humble warrior. Inhale, let's take those fists to our tailbone, standing all the way back up, swing those arms tall for warrior one. Very good. Hands come to heart center. Let's launch off that back foot, come back to standing in mountain pose. All right, let's take our left foot back, setting up for warrior one, opposite side. So left foot comes back to a 45-degree angle, right toes point forward. Press into the outside of the left foot and bend that right knee to stack it over the ankle. Right away, press those feet down so we can try to square the hips towards the front of the mat. It's okay if they're not there right away, but that's where they're aiming. Let's inhale, reach our arms nice and tall. Reach that spine long in both directions. Find something to gaze at the wall in front of you. Focus on it with your eyesight. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, try to reach whatever you're looking at with your exhalation. Blow your air towards it. Try it again. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, think about arcing your air to whatever you're looking at, like you're throwing a dart. Very good. Final inhale. As we exhale, maybe taking our hands to our low back, humble warrior, all 10 fingers interlace, maybe switching the grip this time, switching which thumb is on top. Press those fists down, lift your heart, take an inhale. Option to stay here or exhale and bow forward to the inside of that right thigh. Humble warrior. Aiming to keep that right knee over the right ankle. Right hip aims to stay back while that left hip reaches forward, trying to keep the pelvis in one line. Continue to breathe, let the back of the neck go. Very good. Stay for an exhale. As you inhale, take those fists, pull them towards your tailbone, stand up with a straight spine. Let's reach those hands high for warrior one. Inhaling here, exhaling to launch off that back leg, just playing with balance. Step it up to meet the front. Find mountain pose. Efficiently as possible, let's take a deep breath. Exhale, sigh it out. Wonderful. This time, we're going to step our right foot back about 4 feet distance, the majority length of our mat. Warrior two. Left toes continue to point forward. If we have to adjust how we're standing on the mat or adjust our screen, do what we need to do. And we're going to turn our right foot so that the left heel is completely in line with the right arch of the right foot. From there, let's take our hands to our hips. Let's really focus on the foundation so we can safely get into our core. Press into the outside of your right foot, like you're trying to glue the outside of your right foot to the mat. From there, we open through the left side of the pelvis, really opening through the thigh here. Now we can start to bend into that left knee. We aim to get that left knee above the left ankle, maybe the left thigh parallel to the ground, just the goal. Feet are now solid on the ground. Now we can think about growing the spine long in both directions, tail down. Crown of the head tall, collarbones broad, sides of the neck long. And now we can lengthen the arms out to the left and right, reaching the fingertips long, but arms stay engaged like you're holding weights. Go ahead and gaze over the left fingertips. Take one deep inhale, exhale in your full warrior two. Inhale, reach the left fingertips tall, up to the ceiling, maybe a little behind you for peaceful warrior. Stretching the left side body, whole right side of the thigh, glute is engaged, maybe even reaching those right fingertips down the back of your right leg. Take a deep breath here. Feel your whole left side body stretching, reaching, opening. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, arms come through center, find lateral angle. Left arm can come to the top of left thigh. And we reach the right arm up, either straight up to the ceiling or maybe a little bit in front of us. Opening up the right side body. Chest stays open. Looks good. Maybe gazing towards the ceiling. Can stay right here or option to lengthen the left fingertips to the ground. Keep breathing here. Find your breath. Find your breath and take a deeper breath here. Let your belly be nice and open. Feel your feet solid on the ground. Let's move on and inhale. Inhale, come all the way back up. Find your warrior two. Very good. Let's heel toe our feet together a little bit. Point our body back towards the front of our mat and launch off that back foot. Letting the right foot come to meet our left at the front of the mat. Take an inhale, find mountain pose. Exhale, let it out. Good. Step that left foot back behind us. Warrior two, opposite side. I will turn to face the other way so you can see the front of my body. Right toes continue to point forward. Left foot is perpendicular to the back edge of the mat. Go ahead and press into the left side of the foot so we can open across the right inner thigh, aiming to bend that right knee over the right ankle. Very good. Once we have a strong foundation in the lower body, we can lengthen the torso in opposite directions, maybe keeping hands on our hips, feeling our torso lengthening, our feet gripping the mat. Maybe lengthening the arms out to the side. Very good. Inhale, gaze over the fingertips. Wonderful. On your next inhale, find peaceful warrior. Right fingertips reach up, maybe a little bit behind us. Left fingertips maybe reach down the back of the left leg, stretching the side body, stretching the obliques, even the inside of the hip. One more breath. So good. On an exhale, come through warrior two. Find lateral angle, right forearm to right thigh, left arm can reach up, or maybe a little overhead. Keep your heart open. Very good. Keep reaching those left fingertips high. Maybe lengthening the right fingertips down to the ground. Lateral angle. Breathing here, reaching the crown of your head long in the opposite direction, away from your tailbone. One more breath. Stay for the exhale. So good. Inhale, come all the way back up. Find your warrior two. Wonderful. Maybe let's take a slightly shorter stance by heel toeing our feet together. Point your feet towards the front of your mat. Step all the way back to your mountain. Find mountain. Sink your heels down. Take a deep breath. Very good. On an inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Sink those hips back. Exhale, forward fold. Fold all the way over the legs. Very nice. Inhale, think about halfway lifting, long spine. And as we exhale, let's plant our hands on the mat. Step back to a plank, plank of your choice, high or low. Inhale, find your plank, long spine. As you exhale, let's sink the hips and elbows and chest all the way to the mat. We're going to take Cobra, nice and slow. So glide the hands underneath the shoulders, chin out on the mat. And we can actually walk our legs back a few inches, making our spine nice and long. Go ahead and sink the pelvis, soft part of the belly, to the mat, and zip your thighs up together. Inhale, press the face of your pelvis down and reach your spine out of your low back. Maybe we stay here, or maybe we continue lengthening the spine and start to peel our heart off the mat. Turning our gaze forward, keeping the sides of our neck long, collarbones broad, strengthening all the vertebrae muscles. Breathing here. Exhale, let it go. Hands, palms stack, let the forehead rest for just a second. Very good. Inhale, press yourself back up through tabletop and walk your hands back to kneeling position, hero's pose. Very good. We'll just take a moment in heroes, taking our hands to our low belly, really trying to feel the breath in the lowest part of our trunk. So if it feels good, we're going to take index fingers together, thumbs together in an upside down triangle, and just place it on the lowest part of our belly. If it doesn't feel good, release it and just breathe. But otherwise, see if you can start to tap into the feeling of your breath. And see if you can notice your fingertips moving with your breath. You're breathing so low into the belly. Very good. Let's take one more deep belly breath. And as you exhale, sigh it out. So good. All right, let's come to a seat. Find a seat on your mat. We're going to take feet out nice and long for reverse plank. Option to cross the legs and do half reverse plank. But either way, with legs long or legs crossed, we're going to take our hands behind us on the mat, fingertips pointing towards the body. Spread all 10 fingertips nice and wide and grip the mat with the palms. Step one. All right, as we inhale, press into the heel of your palms, lift your heart and lift your gaze towards the ceiling. Maybe we hang out right here, taking this nice, passive, feel-good back bend, even stretching the wrists and forearms. Such a good pose, really, really good for the spine. We can stay here, or the next time we inhale, we can lift our hips nice and high, thinking about lengthening the spine in both directions. Heart stays lifted, throat stays open, gaze towards the ceiling. Breathing here. Exhale, if our hips are high, let them sink all the way back down and come back to a seated position, bending the knees, feet on the mat. Right, for boat pose, we're going to grab the backs of our thighs and really think about sitting your body weight forward. From here, we want to grow our spine out of our pelvis. So our pelvis is rooted down into the earth, and we're growing our spine out so long that the top of our head feels like it's an extension of the spine. Keep that integrity of the spine and start to lean your body back until maybe we can hover our shins off the ground. If that seems really far away, we can always just hover until our big toes are off the ground and just lift one shin and then the other. Maybe we're right here. Maybe your shins are parallel to the ground. Maybe we can release the palms. If we do, keep that heart lifted, keep the spine long. Maybe we can start to lengthen one or both legs, bringing our body into a letter V. Keep that spine nice and long wherever you are. Take a deep breath. Decide right now if you want to work on stabilization and stay here, or if you want to work on a little bit of dynamic movement. Everybody inhale. If you're moving, tuck your tail, reach your heels and head away from each other. Hover them off the mat. Inhale all the way back up to boat pose. Exhale, roll over that tailbone, reach your head and feet away from each other, long body. Inhale one more time, back up to boat. All right, drop those feet to the mat. Go ahead and come to lying down on the back. Feet stay on the mat, knees bent. Let's take a nice restorative opening bridge pose. So heels come towards the glutes, feet are parallel, palms face down by the hips. Already, before we even move, think about an open belly, an open heart, an open throat. As we inhale, press into the arches of your feet. Think about lifting your pelvis, the fronts of your thighs towards the ceiling. Just warming up for the first one. Let's exhale, let it go. We might still feel a little funny from the earlier poses, so let's just feel it out here. Inhale, lift those hips nice and high. Exhale, let it go. Option to continue flowing, or inhale, and let's hold our bridge pose. Coming into a restorative position, thinking about lengthening that tail away from the head. Front of the body open, heart open, feet engaged on the mat, pressing down, breathing here. Maybe even walking the feet out just a few inches for extended bridge pose, if it feels like a good idea. Everybody take one more breath. As you exhale, let your hips sink down. Feet come nice and wide on the mat. And maybe we take both knees to the right, both knees off to the left. Find windshield wipers, left, right, to release the low back. So good. Good, and let's take our legs nice and long for just a second. Take a deep breath, long legs. Exhale, sigh it out. Take another deep inhale. Feel your spine engage, your low back start to pull towards the mat. Exhale. Let's take our right knee into the belly, just bending that right leg up, maybe interlacing our fingers and giving our right shin a hug.
Gently ease that right knee in for just a moment, just giving ourselves a little hug here. And as we exhale, let's draw that right knee across our body to the left for a spine twist. Maybe looking over our right shoulder, take a deep breath. Very good. Very good. Come back to center on an inhale. As you exhale, low back draws to the mat. Switch the feet. Left knee pulls in. Maybe we interlace the fingers to give our shin a nice little bit of a hug here. And on an exhale, let's draw that left knee across the front of the body, over to the right. Very good. Maybe arms release out to the side. We can look over our left shoulder. Taking a spine twist. Wringing out the back. Good for metabolism, really good for things like checking our blind spot or reaching for a roll of toilet paper. Maybe even starting to stretch our arms out to a T, reaching our arms in opposite directions. Even starting to stretch our forearms, just an option. Just getting curious about the poses, curious about what we're doing on the floor. And on an inhale, we bring that left knee back to center. Exhale, let's bring that right knee in to meet the left. Give yourself a nice big hug over those shins. Maybe tucking that forehead towards the knees. Stretching the back of the neck all the way into the brain stem. Gently hang on to the shins. It's okay if our grip has to adjust. But as we exhale, let's just start to roll our shoulder blades back of the head to the mat. Giving ourselves some time to open up our spine in wind removing pose. So breathing here, lengthening the spine down the mat. Gently easing our thighs into our belly, uncomfortable position on the front side of the body. Compression posture on the front, while lengthening the whole back side of the body. Let's tuck our chins to our chest, look down the center line of your body, take another deep breath. Exhale, sigh it out. So good. Maybe release the arms to a T or maybe goalpost. And if it feels good, let's start to lengthen the backs of our legs, coming into legs up the wall pose. We actually have a wall and we want to turn our hips and just let our legs rest up the wall. That is a really good feel-good option. If that is not what we're working with today, just long legs in the air will definitely do. If this is too much for our legs, just go ahead and bend your knees, but we want to keep sinking that low back into the mat. So however we need to adjust our legs, just fine. But let your back rest completely on the mat, maybe taking the slightest tuck of your chin, arms out by the sides. And keep your eyes open, stay present, stay in the room. Gaze towards your big toes. Very good. Start to tap back into that breath. As long as this doesn't put too much pressure on your breathing, we're going to stay here for a little while. If this feels too uncomfortable for any reason, you can just drop your feet and continue to breathe with us. But otherwise, we aim to stay in this deeply restorative posture. So good for our posture, so good for our spine and our back. There's a reason we lay on a hard floor when we throw our back out, as well as really good for the circulatory system, especially in our legs. Good for the lymphatic system as well. Excellent drainage using gravity. Allowing yourself to gather all these benefits. Continue to breathe. In fact, let's do it together. Everyone, wherever you are, let's exhale out everything we have out of our mouth right now. Push it out. Seal your lips. Take an inhale through your nose. Feel your low back expand. The back of your rib cage expand. Fill up your body all the way to the tops of your shoulders with air. Exhale out of your nose, depressing your shoulders. Back of the rib cage relaxes, low back relaxes, pressing it all the way down. Deep inhale through the nose. Feel the low torso expand, the mid torso expand, filling up with fresh air all the way to the top. Exhale out of your nose, pressing the air out of the top of your trunk, the middle of your trunk, pressing it out of your low belly. One more deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out of your nose. So good. Maybe stay here and legs up the wall. Maybe start to bend the knees and let your feet come down to the mat in constructive rest pose. But we're going to take Shavasana and either legs up the wall or feet down on the mat. Constructive rest pose takes some of the weight out of our low back by keeping our feet on the mat, allowing us to just gently find a neutral spine. So if our feet are on the mat, we can think about finding those small pelvic tilts a little bit until we find a neutral pelvis. Feel your shoulders heavy on the mat. The backs of your hands on the mat, palms face up, fingertips gently curled in. The back of your hips gently pressing into the mat. Maybe notice the pads of your feet if our legs aren't in the air. If our feet are on the mat, see if you can notice every single pad under every single toe. Just gently on the mat. Just being curious about our body. And let's draw our attention towards the trunk of our body, just being curious, just wanting to understand it more, how it moves, what it likes, what it doesn't like. And let's take our attention to the left side rib cage, the side sort of underneath your left armpit, all the way down the rib bones. And the next time you take a deep breath, see if you can really feel into filling up that left rib cage with air. Notice it relax as you exhale. Take another deep breath here, noticing it expanding and relaxing. Let's ping pong that awareness to the right side rib cage, whole right side of our rib cage. Take a deep breath. See how much you can expand. Fill that right side of our body with air. Exhale, notice yourself relaxing. Take another deep inhale. Exhale, notice both sides of our body relaxed on the mat. Inhale, let's notice our collarbones, our clavicles, the area just underneath our throat, right by our pecs. And as we breathe here, think about it getting nice and broad, lifting up to the sky and gently away from each other. And as we exhale, just let our chest relax very gently down. We're not pushing or pressing anything. We're letting it happen naturally. And we're just noticing as we inhale and exhale, our clavicles, our collarbones, our whole pectoral area gently lifts. So good. Now let's slide our awareness down into that hollow of our belly, right where the rib cage sort of draws apart like a curtain. Let's take a deep breath into that hollow part of our belly. Exhale, sigh it out. Very good. And finally, let's take one deep breath into the lowest part of our belly, right in the center of our pelvic bowl. Take a deep breath here. As you exhale, think about your low back melting into the mat. Very good. Let's take one final deep breath together in this really relaxing, restorative pose. Deep inhale. Exhale, start to sigh it out. Very good. All right, let's start to wake our body up, maybe bringing some movement back to our fingers and toes, maybe lengthening our limbs out. Let's go ahead and press ourselves all the way back up to seated. Very good. And when you're ready, let's really pay attention to the foundation of our body. Let's find our seated pose and just sit up with our best posture. Bottom half of the body nice and solid on the ground. Pelvis in neutral. Spine lifts out of the body and our hands rest on our legs. Sides of the throat are nice and long. Just take a moment to notice your posture. Notice how your body feels sitting like this in lotus. And let's end class today with one deep breath together. Let's exhale everything out of our mouth. Seal the lips. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out of your nose. Namaste, everyone.